He does, 100%. I don't even think he's top five yet, man.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
He's
whoa.
cruising to the finals every fucking year, man. Every year. So I just want to see him play some comp until the finals.
What's up, YouTube? It's the one and only Legend of Winning, aka Low, and I am back with another video. Now, it's finally here, people. The NBA Finals is right around the corner, and just like a lot of people predicted, in the middle of the summer last year when Kevin Durant made the decision to go to Oakland, the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers are meeting in the finals for the third consecutive season. Now, multiple people have different arguments and belief about why the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors are bad for the NBA and how they killed the regular season and the playoffs, and quite honestly, for the most part, I do actually agree with them, and I will share my thoughts on that later on. However, in this video, I do want to highlight a couple of players that I start to see do not receive the correct praise. When it comes to the Golden State Warriors, when they add Kevin Durant on their roster, the thing that I really notice about that team is the legacy of all the players on the organization completely shifted. And the reason why this doesn't do the Warriors justice is because even if they were playing well, which they have been playing well throughout the entire season, they're still going to be judged simply because of the lack of success from Kevin Durant. Now, why exactly am I pointing this out? The reason why I'm making this video is because I think a lot of people don't realize how little Kevin Durant actually means to the team. Now, I understand 25 points a game, 30 every now and then, extremely efficient, 7-foot player that can play the 3 and the 4, and sometimes they may even put him at the 5. I get it. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, they all look better when Kevin Durant plays at an elite level. However, if you look at the season and you look at some of the games, they don't really rely on Kevin Durant to do everything, which is kind of weird because obviously we know Kevin Durant to be that type of a player where organizations such as OKC heavily depended on him. However, when I look back at some of the games, especially in the playoffs, Kevin Durant really wasn't as dominant as I thought he was. And actually, some of the games he flat out missed. I completely forgot in the first series, Kevin Durant missed 2 of the games. And then when he came back in game 4 for the Portland Trail Blazers, he only played 20 minutes that game and only scored 10 points. However, the Warriors still blew them out by 25 points. And then when it came to game 1 to the Utah series, he played 30 minutes, however, only scored 17 points while shooting 41% from the field. So it's not like they desperately needed him because they were consistently being able to win. And then going back and looking at Curry's performances and Draymond's, quite honestly, I was pretty amazed. And this is something that obviously stemmed back towards the tail end of the regular season as well, when Steph Curry, Draymond, Klay Thompson, and the rest of the cast went on a 13-game winning streak while Kevin Durant was injured. And as I sit back, I start to realize a lot of people also are not recognizing in the playoffs, Klay Thompson is playing really, really bad. Like, he's an extremely streaky shooter in the playoffs. He's shooting under 40% from the field. Draymond is almost outscoring him, and obviously Draymond does a little bit more, actually he does a lot more than Klay Thompson on the defensive end. So the fact that Draymond is keeping up with him offensively while also outperforming him on the defensive end as well is actually concerning. So I'm starting to realize that the Warriors really haven't depended on Klay Thompson at all whatsoever, especially offensively during the playoffs. And then also you start to realize Kevin Durant missed a couple of games, didn't play that many minutes in certain games, and didn't perform exceptionally well in all the series. And then I look and I'm like, yo, Curry is outscoring Kevin Durant. His efficiency is through the roof. He's playing great basketball. He's passing properly. And I'm starting to realize Curry isn't going to receive that much credit for what's going to happen this season. And that's the reason why I think that Curry, along with Draymond Green as well, they will be massive losers. Now, when it comes to Draymond, I think a lot of people still have this idea that Draymond is a system player and they don't give him enough credit for what he does. Now, I think majority of us believe that Draymond is a great defensive player. However, offensively, I think that's what people believe, that he heavily relies on the rest of the team. Now, again, I understand what he does for the team, what he does for the system, and offensively, he gets a lot of open looks. However, if you're kidding yourself that Draymond Green desperately needs KD, Klay Thompson, or Steph Curry to perform at an elite level, I think that's a bit silly. Now, obviously, he gets better looks because of those players, but I think Draymond is just a really, really well-rounded player. Shoots a 3, handles a ball, great playmaker. He does certain things that you would wish certain other players, especially at the power forward position, would be able to do. And the fact that he puts his ego aside and take less shots, the fact that he's actually stepping up to the plate every single game to play big men, even though he's like 6'7", I think that should be applauded and recognized, especially in the playoffs, because in the playoffs, like I stated before, in large parts, he's outperforming Klay Thompson on the offensive end and defensively, and it's not like they're relying on him because Klay Thompson is shooting under 40% from the field, and I feel like nobody's really talking about that. And then when it comes to Steph and Curry, I'm starting to look at Curry in a different light. Now, don't get me wrong, I know a lot of people know me from my first video, me exposing Curry. But the thing that I wanted to shed light back then on was Curry. I felt like people were jumping to too many conclusions on where he stood in all-time greatness. However, when it comes to Curry, I think people still have this stigma on where he stands because they lost the finals last year. When in reality, holding him to that type of standard really does show how great of a player he is. Consistently believing that a player is supposed to win a championship every single year is crazy. But because, again, the lack of success of Kevin Durant joining the Warriors, now we have this type of standard. Because again, if you go back and look at the playoffs, some of the scoring performances that Curry has been ridiculous. Especially when you start to realize when majority of them, he's shooting over 50%. Some games, he's shooting 60%. And furthermore, they've consistently proven that they are not relying on Kevin Durant, and Klay Thompson is playing poorly. So really, it's been two players that has consistently came to play every single game for the Warriors, and they still have swept the entire Western Conference. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not like it was the greatest talent out there in the West when they played them, especially after Kawhi got hurt. However, when it comes to the finals, I really don't see how Curry is going to come out in such a positive light, especially to fans in the community. Because if the Warriors win, Kevin Durant will receive his first championship, and that is the accomplishment that he obviously is gunning for to validate his move to going to the Warriors and eventually possibly taking a pay cut in the offseason. And when it comes to Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, they'll win another championship. And when it comes to players like that, they need championships to really validate their greatness because they really won't receive that many individual awards, such as Klay Thompson not receiving an All-NBA selection this year. However, Curry has already won his championship, 2 MVPs, regular season performances that have been phenomenal, again, without Kevin Durant last year when the Warriors went 73-9. And if the Warriors win this year and they sweep the Cavs, people are just going to be like, yo, the super teams are terrible. Nobody doesn't like the regular season. The finals was whack as well. And Curry needed KD to beat Kyrie and LeBron and the rest of the company. And even if it goes to a game 7 and Curry hits the final shot, the buzzer beater that wins it for the Warriors, people will still discredit what Curry has done, and they'll sit there and say, it still went to a game 7. You needed a buzzer beater to beat LeBron, and you needed Kevin Durant to do it as well. And God forbid if the Warriors lose in the NBA Finals, because trust me, I will be on that ass as well. But the reason why I want to make this video is to at least recognize Stephen Curry and Draymond in their performance in the playoffs. Because again, I don't think people realize Klay Thompson's been playing poorly. Kevin Durant has missed some games and played limited minutes some games as well. And Curry and Draymond have been chugging along, playing very, very consistent basketball. They still swept through the West. And a lot of people have them favorites to win the NBA Finals. So shout out to you all. I wanted to make sure I get this out before people start nitpicking and criticizing the team. If you enjoyed the video, let me know what you think about Curry and Draymond and their legacy in the comment section below. Leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.